things that ensure strength. We all can agree that lessons in life has ways of improving one's outlook and results on the life board while looking for the monopoly, seeking to connect four while taking a risk, crawling through the chutes to get to the ladder, to ascend from playing checkers, head held high and raising one's chest, only to be sorry, needing an operation for being a hungry hippo in the wrong aspect. Rearranging the Scrabble to get a clue. Nothing is more irritating than running the backgammon and not ever seeing the Candyland to receive the Yahtzee. You see, it can boggle one's cranium in this world of trouble and leave the skull hardware in categories. Is it worth it? The trivial pursuit around snakes and ladders, seeking dominion, arming one's battleship to Jenga, no twister involved. The games we play to become better in our later days. Some states to repent. Here are some things that ensures strength. Fools, friends, and family. This group, a singular one, in the sense that they all are on the outside looking in. So no matter how close that you may feel with fools, friends, and family, it is still about you getting your mind and body right. And though they exist to assist in some way, it is their actions or a lack of that actually puts one on the right track, along with wanting to be better through works performed on self. For example, as a teen, I started to find and know my family on my dad's side. This included some friends of his, some upstanding, some foolish, and others that I just don't know about. Like my stepsister, my dad's wife's daughter, I have always wanted a sister, or the plural version of sister, as I was the eldest of 3 males on my mom's side. My belief was with the sister, expanding understanding of Earth and its inhabitants would expand and serve a greater purpose. My theory turned out to be true, but not without some strife. Here's what I mean. Meeting my stepsister and her little brother was a joyous time for me back then. We kept each other company while learning each other, playing, eating, and doing things that siblings do. Well, it all went left unexpectedly as a result of my stepsister stabbing me in the back, literally. Here's the story. A warm summer day in Inglewood, Chicago. I am out riding my 10-speed through the various neighborhoods and playgrounds. A day and time that getting shot wasn't on the minds of kids, teens, and adults. I decided to go to my dad's place, of which was practically down the street, but not really. Upon the arrival and buzzing the bell, someone buzzes the entry bell past the first door. I got to the front door of my dad's place, and instead of him opening the door as I expected, it was my stepsister. I greeted her, and then proceeded to enter the apartment. Now, the way my dad's place was set up was you entered the front door into a narrow hallway. Straight ahead was the kitchen. To the right, and was near the end of the hallway, was the rear, the bedroom for the kids, and the storage lockers. Excuse me. To the left was where the front room, aka the second bedroom in the 2-bedroom domain, was. So I enter and greet my sister and turn to head towards the front area to see my dad. And I felt my sister hit me for what seemed like a punch to the back. Nothing out of the ordinary, as brothers and sisters horseplay and fight all of the time. This was not that, because I had just arrived, and just to see my dad and no one else. I turned to her with a chuckle after the lick was passed, not knowing what the true issue of the lick was, or the reason of which I will reveal at the end of this one. So, as I chuckled at her after what felt like a punch, I turned in the narrow hallway to go past her, and I brushed the wall, and then I felt something that was irritating in my back. I looked behind me, and lo and behold, a knife was in my back. Literally. Then I say to my dad, when I seen him, that Talisha stabbed me in the back with a knife. And my dad replied, "What?" So I turned around to show him as a confirmation of the statement made. I can only imagine the thought process of my stepsister after committing an act of terrorism, and the unflinching overall strength to be injured and not even feel any pain until I turned in the narrow hallway, and then it was apparent that it was a knife in my back. My dad snatched the knife out of my back, and the only thing I remember from that point is leaving, getting back on my 10-speed to ride home. Now, this was around the times where airbrushing clothing was popular. We could not afford such things of what seemed like luxuries. So I drew on my own t-shirt, a white t-shirt, and I got on the bike, and I started my journey home. My once white shirt now became crimson. I again can imagine what those in cars were seeing as I pedaled with ferocity to get home. Fighting time. Now knowing how the body works, when blood pressure is high from exercising or anything, if you have a wound, the wound will gush, as I assume mine was from my back onto my white t-shirt. Now the shirt was wet, and now the shirt had a wet and warm feeling to it, with the distinct smell of iron. I finally get home, and my mom was not there. She was at a friend's place a few doors down. And when she came out, she asked,
"What's wrong with you?"
I replied, "Talisha stabbed me in the back with a knife." We ended up at the ER, and the staff mentioned that within another inch, or the knife being longer in the surrounding area, death would have followed. And when they heard how I rode my bike from one area to another while bleeding, they were amazed. My mom gets credit for doing things like whooping my ass with extension cords, skillets, thick broom handles, and anything that conveyed the message of do not do that again, along with a natural thickness for punishment. I do not know where it came from. It is just me and always have been me. Mental, physical, and emotional strength has and always will be my forte. Some may believe what I experienced from my mom was abuse, and they will be correct. It was also some things that ensured strength. You see, life has ways to opening up our lives in some less than desirable ways. And those same folk are the ones who focus on the abuse, as opposed to how I view it, only after it went down. And that is thickening of skin that was already tough. Think of it like the Hulk gaining Wolverine's adamantium capabilities. As I close, the moral here is a strength. That strength sometimes comes in the strangest ways, and it is up to the individual how they interpret and use both the good, bad, and the ugly of all situations. That is the only thing that matters. I hope this reality of Rasta has done some good for you, as it has for me. And while I still got your attention, like and share the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell to the channel, and join the Patreon for the raw and uncut side of Rasta's realities. The support links are in the description and the first comment below. I thank you for tagging me in by watching and listening. I am R. Akilbo Mani, and until next time, peace to you. Oh, you thought I forgot about the cliffhanger part of the story. The part of the story that explains why my stepsister stabbed me in the back with a knife. Well, you see, you remember when I mentioned playing and getting to know each other? My stepsister and I and her little brother? She was the eldest. One day she tried to push me into a storage area that had a bed in it. And come to find out, she wanted sex from me. Her stepbrother. I was not familiar with incest at that particular moment, but it was unnatural the way I was raised to have relations with any family member, even if it's a step family member. I just wasn't raised that way. I'm not cut from that cloth. That was the reason why she plunged a knife in my back. Or possibly she did it to shut me up from telling what she had did. One can only surmise her reasoning behind it. But those are the reasons that I thought she did it. I am Al Kilbomani. Peace to you.